Group hug f***ing sucks, dude. No. You don't get to say something here. This is my video, and I'm not letting these war criminals get away with this. Now, come here. Take a good look at this, and let's do a quick test. What do you see here? What? You see a cute little mama rabbit that just wants to give you some card draw? The hell do you mean a cute mama rabbit? This is a damn war criminal. And look, I'm sure some of you are still going to, for whatever reason, deny this group hug slander. And you know what? You show me someone who likes group hug, and I'll show you someone who has never actually played against group hug before in their life. And if you don't think I'm someone reliable to be talking on this issue, I just want you to know that I have a pod of 3 beautiful other men that I play Magic the Gathering with, and all of them at one point or not has built their own group hug deck. And oh my goodness, do I hate playing against all of them. And let me just break down exactly why group hug is the worst archetype to ever play against real quick. And as much as I hate my friends' group hug decks, you know what? I'll give it to them. They've all built unique group hug decks that win in different ways. So let's just go down the line of my pod, and I can tell you for your own future reference how to not totally get screwed over whenever you encounter one of these evil group hug decks. Well, let's start with my good friend Marcos. On the outside, he has a super fun Quain deck that wants the whole table to draw more cards and just speed up the game. At least that's what he'll tell you to your face, because that's not at all what the deck is meant to do. So you see, Marcos hates dirtling while playing Commander, and he also likes having a very straightforward win line while he plays. And so to counteract the dirtling problem that Marcos doesn't like to play against, he wanted to add some card draw to his deck. But a main issue of adding a lot of card draw to your deck is that if you're looking over at someone drawing 10 more cards than you do, you probably want them out of the game as fast as possible. So, Marcos counteracted this by having a commander that made everyone draw cards. And wow, isn't that just so wholesome of him? But do you know what's not really wholesome? Looking at all 20 cards in your hand and then watching him play Thassa's Oracle for the win. And I swear, if I see in the comment sections below, hey egoist, just build better decks and be able to counter Thassa's Oracle. If you're drawing 20 cards off of Quain, how can't you do that? And I swear, if you think that this combo group hug player doesn't have 10 counter spells in his deck to counteract me, you have to be tripping. And now you're also probably thinking, why don't you just swing at him and deal a lot of damage before he's able to combo off? And you know what? I totally would, if there wasn't a Ghostly Prison, Propaganda, and other effects to where I literally cannot attack him unless I waste my entire turn. And I think that Marcos's deck actually does a really good job of explaining why I hate group hug so much. I would like to show you a real-world example with this Quain deck, for instance. As I'm sure a lot of you know, a lot of group hug players like to preface it, oh, I'm building this to help speed up the game and give you guys more cards that you want to play. And oh my goodness, is that the exact opposite of what group hug decks do? What you were looking at now is roughly 2 hours into a 4-pod of Magic the Gathering Commander. As I'm sure you've come to realize, this is Marco staring back at us and he is playing his Quain deck. Then to the right of him is Anthony playing his Spellslinger deck, and then I am playing my Dragon deck that I had at the time. Now I'm sure you're wondering, didn't you say it was a 4-pod? And yeah, it was. My good friend Michael was sitting right to my right, and oh my goodness, did he get taken out of the game 45 minutes in. So do you know what Michael had to do while Marcos went off, quote unquote, with his group hug deck for an hour and 15 minutes? He got to doom scroll on his phone. What you are seeing now on the board is the stack, multiple cards that are being played on top of each other as Marcos gets to tap and untap his Quain to draw unlimited cards, me and Anthony putting removal onto Quain and his board to try and force the issue and make him lose on the stack. And you know what, this would be totally fine if Marcos said, hey, I'm going for my combo with this deck and trying to win the game. But you know how we preface this deck and introduce this group hug madness into our lives? Hey, this is my group hug deck. I want to see you guys have more fun while playing against me. And Marcos, do you think Michael had fun during this game? Do you think I had fun watching a 30-minute stack resolve just to watch Anthony win once again and you lose after causing all of this? Because the answer is no. And you know, I don't want to bash on Marcos this whole time. He's a cool guy. He can make some degenerate decks to play against, but hey, brother's human, you know? So let's move on to Anthony, because my god do I have some things to say about this guy. So me and Anthony got introduced to each other through Magic the Gathering, and one of the first decks he ever played against me was his Zedru deck, where he phrased the deck as, yeah dude, I'm going to be giving you awesome stuff to help with your game plan. And yeah, that did happen, until I kept losing the game because of him. Anthony, I'm gonna chuck some cold water on your face here, but giving me Curse of Opulence 3 games in a row isn't exactly a gift, as you would phrase it. And I think if you took my Magic career, if you would call it, and summed up all of my losses, a majority of them would be through the card's 9 lives, believe it or not. I think I would tear up every version of 9 lives if it wasn't for the cool black cat art coming out, to be honest. And you know what? Sure, for every 3 horrible cards you would give me, you would chuck me a humble defector. But what am I gonna do with all of these cards in my hand whenever you gave me Steel Golem and I can't play creatures in my creature deck? And you know what, I'm just gonna move on because I am actively rage baiting myself talking about these quote-unquote group hug decks. So let's just move on to Michael. Now, Michael has recently built a Xyrus the Withering Storm deck due to him having a snake at home and wanting to have a commander deck to represent his pet snake. You know what? Awesome, Michael. A+ for theme. But, Michael, does your pet at home spit out 52 snakes randomly? Is that on theme for your pet snake? And you know what? I'm gonna have to give it to Michael. Out of my 3 friends with his group hug deck, he probably tries to win the game the least. He just builds up his snakes and thinks about his pet snake. Super wholesome, super awesome guy. But at the same time, whenever this dude decides to win the game, boy, can he win the game. Believe it or not, having 100 1/1 snakes because the rest of the table is playing high power and just drawing cards is pretty gosh darn insane whenever you decide to turn them sideways and swing them at me. And you know what? I think that there is a valid point to go against me and that I'm just slandering Group Hug too much because I've had to play against it multiple times with people who just maybe misphrase or straight up lie about what their deck does for the fun of the game. And you know what? Totally valid. Maybe I am just overexposed to Group Hug decks that are absolutely not Group Hug decks. But name one person who has played their group hug deck and hasn't phrased it in a way similar to, oh, no, my group hug deck isn't gonna be like that. I'm not gonna turn on you randomly late in the game. This is just for you guys to play your game and speed it up. Because all of them do that. And oh my goodness, call all of them a Lannister because they are actively planning the Red Wedding on you. And so now we have to think, how do us, the normal, the non-evil, non-group hug Magic the Gathering players counteract this plague, this epidemic of deck building that we have to face in the community? And now, the next time you play against a group hug deck, after they're done lying to you, explaining how their group deck isn't like any other group hug deck, look at them in the face and just say, do you have a combo in that deck? Do you win off having no cards in your library? What turn is your deck expected to win? Because I know your slimy ass is trying to turbo out to it. And now, did I over-exaggerate how much I actually hate group hug just so I could slander my friends for a few minutes on my YouTube platform? Abso-freaking-lutely I did. And also, I'm a broke college student and I need these mid-roll ads to make me some money, so watch this dancing cat until we hit that 8-minute mark.